Hi, Manny. Hi, Sandy. So here is your video, so you have a visual representation of the postures that I sent you. And so, Sandy, I know that you practice yoga, so I apologize in advance if I go over anything that you've already gone over Manny with. Like if I'm repeating things, my apologies. I'm just not there, so I don't know what's been conveyed. So this is just going to be a little guideline for you. To refer to. You can watch it once, you can watch it and do it together. All of these postures, ideally, I want you to hold them anywhere between 30 seconds and up to 5 minutes. Where you are right now, I'm assuming that you're going to be a little bit less flexible. If my assumption's wrong, hold them for 3 to 5 minutes. But if you're still really tight right now, I really want you to start in the 30 seconds to 1 minute. And don't worry, because these are going to be very passive stretches. So holding something for up to 5 minutes isn't going to be like trembling. So the first one that I gave you was Paschimottanasana. So this is a forward folding bend. You'll see that I've got a blanket that I'm sitting on here. You could sit directly on the floor. When you put your hips on a folded blanket or on a block, that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, or a pillow. That little bit of lift in the hips is going to allow you to sit up a little bit taller because it's going to decrease this angle where your hip flexors are. So just play with it. But if you don't have any props and you're right here, this is totally fine. We are not looking for perfection. We're looking for effectiveness. So your legs are going to be nice and long before you. And I'm going to start to turn towards the side. So legs are long. And I want you to have them relaxed. Typically, I'd say push them into the ground, but we're going to hold these for a while. So have the legs relaxed. If the feet are slightly separated, that's fine. I want you to get really, really tall here. And I want you to just start to walk out, keeping your spine very straight. Walk out so that your chest is coming out and over your legs. If that means you got to bend your legs because you're still accessing the hamstrings in the back. So we're going to hold this one for a few minutes. And part of the reason why we're going to do this for a few minutes together is so I can show you some additional cues that as time passes, as you hold these stretches longer, you kind of know where to go when you get there. So right now I have a nice straight back. I'm leaning out and over. I'm not worrying about touching my toes. A lot of times when people touch toes, they start to do this, which is a stretch, but not the stretch we're looking for. So very straight spine, out and over. And as your body starts to relax and realize that it's safe here, you're going to be able to exhale and move in a little bit deeper. And so you might do it in 20 seconds, you might do it in 60 seconds. Everybody's a little different. But that's part of the reason why we're going into it with this proper posture, is not only to get the stretch in the hamstrings, where it should be, for your purposes, but also to allow the body to feel safe, to realize that the parasympathetic nervous system can engage, so you don't have to tense up and fight the stretch. So we're going to be here for a little bit longer. I want you to keep thinking about pulling in the belly and coming out and over. And again, don't be so attached to coming all the way over into a forward fold unless that comes to you really, really naturally. I will say, when you hold these postures for a period of time, sometimes you'll start to feel tingles. Tingles are okay. A complete lack of sensation, not okay. Come out of it. But tingles will happen. As long as nothing feels like it's painful, sharp, or tearing, you're good. So each exhale allows me to come out a little bit more. You might be further down than I am. You might be higher up. We're not worried about looking exactly the same. I also want you to make sure that your knees are pointing straight towards the sky. They might want to roll out. Keep the knees aligned. All right, we're in our last 30 seconds here. All right, so to come out of this, I want you to take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, I just want you to kind of ragdoll completely. And then you can slowly walk the hands back towards you. You're going to bring your head up last. Take your time. And I really want you to move slowly. So I'm going to lean back into my hands. I'm going to give the legs a shake. You might feel your back a little bit on that one. So again, no rush. You're doing this in front of the TV at the end of the night. Okay. All right. So turning back, we are going to go into Sphinx pose. So this is going to be on our belly. So we just did the back body. We want to get the front body. So always keep in mind that we're going to go back and forth, back, front, and that will help sort of even out the pulley system of our muscles. Okay, so with that, you can lie on your belly, blanket or not. I'm actually going to do it without. I'm just going to pretend you don't have these things. So you're going to lie on your belly. I'm going to turn towards you for a second so you can see. So your alignment is going to be shoulders over elbows. And a really great cheat to figure out if you have that, if you're not sure if you're too wide or too narrow, grab opposite elbows. If you grab opposite elbows, you're in alignment. So we're just going to come onto our bellies. Legs are long. You can have toes curled under. I ask that you get into the practice of having them relaxed for this posture and this kind of a sequence. And you're going to press into your palms. So you're pressing from your palms to your elbows nice and even. Roll the shoulders back and look forward. And so we're going to start with our head up and forward. I'm going to give you some options as time passes. Into 12. So as we're here, shoulders are backing up, gaze is forward. And I want you to keep thinking about the chest coming forward while the shoulders back. It's going to be really, really subtle, but you'll feel that sort of proud chest coming forward. And once you do that, you're going to start to feel the front of the body through the abdominals, the lower abdominals, the hip flexors. You'll likely feel a stretch there, which is exactly what we're trying to get to. And so I've been here for a minute. Now, if you're tired of gazing forward, you're always welcome to drop your chin to your chest. And as long as you're doing safe movement, I invite you to add a little movement. You are welcome to rock your head side to side if that feels good. Just everything is very slow, very mindful. If you don't like that, you can just stay here, or gaze can be forward, but we're always opening up our chest forward. And you'll see as time passes, the intensity of these stretches will really build up, which is why we're not going for really big, aggressive movements. We're just going to relax and ease into it and let gravity do the work for us. All right, we have another minute to go. If at any point you're coming out of this, I'm going to show you how to come out of it. But if at any point it's just too much, very slowly just lower yourself all the way on to your belly. Bring your head all the way down to the mat, and you're going to move slowly. And in just a moment, I will show you how to properly come out of this. All right, so we're going to take a big breath in. And then I want you to exhale. You're going to just very, very gently let yourself come all the way down to the mat. You are definitely, most definitely going to feel a lot in your lower back here, which is another reason why we want to move so slowly. And so what I like to do is bring my hands under my shoulders, and I'm just going to really gently and carefully pull myself all the way back to child's pose for a quick moment, which is sitting back on our heels. And granted, you could sit back on your heels. You might be up here. It's fine as long as it feels safe for your knees and you give your lower back a chance to lengthen and stretch out here. And you can let your forehead come to the mat. Microphone, can't do it. All right. And I really just take my sweet time walking my hands back and coming to sit upright because we're not 20 years old anymore and pop out of those things really, really quickly. All right, so that's 1, 2. The third one was Baddha Konasana. So cobbler's pose, butterfly. You're probably already familiar with this one. Soles of the feet are going to come together. I'm going to ask you, instead of bringing the heels really close to you, come out for a little bit more of a diamond shape. So there's just a bigger space here. And you can bring your hands to your knees. It can come to your lap. You can grab your ankles, wherever is comfortable. But always start sitting up really tall. And then, much like that first forward bend, we're just going to come out and over with a straight back. And we're going to modify this for in a second. But let's just keep this nice straight back here. And then as time begins to pass, we'll be able to relax and come out over a little bit more. Again, we're not trying to force anything. Our body's our friend, so let's be nice and not force it. Let's just ask it. If it feels good, you are welcome to use your elbows to gently guide your knees down towards the mat, but I really have to stress the word gently. Even just having your arms there, that weight without pushing might be sufficient. So only do it if it feels right, if it feels good, if it feels like you're getting more benefit out of it, if you're straining against it, and you're kind of holding your breath in, it's not right. Just back off of it. It's not happening today. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next week, but today's not the day. You're welcome to let your head drop, but always keep that spine. I want that tailbone, at least to the nape of the neck, really long. And as the spine gets to lengthen and we move within our natural range of motion with a very long spine, the muscles in the limbs will eventually start to stretch out to accommodate that, which is why I'm asking for the straight back instead of this to accommodate that. Then you're not really accessing and stretching into the muscles that we want for the purposes of less pain. All right, you're going to take another big inhale. Same thing as you exhale, just start to ragdoll out and over. And then you can slowly walk the hands back towards you. Let the torso come up nice and easy. Lean back into the hands. You can let the knees come together. If it feels good, a little nice and easy windshield wiper or hugging your knees. You're going to have things that are going to feel really organic to you as you move from one stretch to the next. So go with that. You don't have to do what I'm telling you. You don't have to do any of this, but you don't have to do exactly what I'm telling you. So the fourth one is the low lunge. So you see we're going back into where we're going to open up the front of the hips here. So Coming up on knees. And always know that this blanket is really nice for knee protection. We're going to step the right leg forward, and I'm going to keep walking that foot forward until the point where my knee is directly above the ankle and my hips are dropping down. And I've got my hands on either side. I'm going to look forward. I do want to keep my shoulders back and down to keep the chest open. And so, again, we're going to be here for another few minutes. And just know that you're welcome to kind of pull back and drop back into it. You can make it more dynamic than static if that's what feels good. But always that rule of thumb is slow and steady. Another trick, if your back toe is curled under, it'll give you more sense of control. So if you're really uneasy about dropping into your hip with that flat foot, curl that toe under, and you'll be a little bit more engaged and feel a little bit more controlled through the stretch. I like to come onto my fists because I have old wrists that don't like a lot of pressure on them all the time. Hazard of yoga teacher. So another nice thing about these slower stretches is you're going to get a lot of feedback. And I don't want you to judge it positively or negatively, but you'll get a lot of feedback on where imbalances are in your body, where something's tighter, where something's looser. And it's a good check-in. So it's kind of a nice reset and stress relief too when you have a chance to kind of breathe into your body for a minute. You'll notice my torso has started to rest on my right thigh. If yours is doing the same, that's just fine. Right, big breath in. Exhale it out. You're going to very slowly push yourself back. Again, that starts to be a really big stretch through the front of the left hip. I'm going to bring my right knee back to meet my left, and we're just going to switch sides. So I'm going to step that left foot forward nice and easy. Start to walk it forward to a point where it feels right where I'm dropping in my hips, but that left knee is stacked over the left ankle. At least not here. And there's nothing wrong with that really, but this is safer for knees if I don't know what condition your knees are in. So that's why I'm asking that. So don't think about pressing the glute and pressing the hips down. It's really just dropping down, keeping the chest open, and really letting gravity do all that work for you. There is a time and a place for me to ask you to actively engage into the stretch. This isn't the time, nor the place. Ignore me, I've got an itch. Don't forget your breathing. Doesn't have to be as loud as mine, but slow and steady for sure. The second that breath becomes ragged, that's your sign that you're pushing too hard. Now we're going to take a big breath in. Exhale it out. Find that last little bit of heaviness. And then we're just very slowly going to start to pull our hips back. Bring both knees back together. And you're going to come back to seated however you want to get there. You can sit on your heels, drop your hips. You could do a back handspring if that's what you're feeling. I mean, it's just whatever floats your boat, but just very safely, please, and mindfully make your way back to your tuchus. Sorry. And we're going to do the last one. So this is the one that if piriformis is what's causing your issue, this is going to be like the most critical stretch, but we kind of wanted to do the other ones to get to this point. So head to knee pose. I'm going to show you a few angles. So my left leg is straight, my right knee is bent, and the sole of my right foot is on the inside of my left leg. It could be down here, it could be up here, but wherever you are, I want you to be able to square off your hips with either, the edge of the mat or just a wall, whatever surface you're using to kind of think about what you're going to be leveling your hips against, even though it's imaginary and in space. From here, I want you to sit up nice and tall. Your sternum is going to line up with that left leg. You're going to look at your left toes. So we have this slight rotation of the torso. Take a big breath in, and then start to walk your fingers out as you exhale. And again, you're welcome to grab your shin, your knee, your toes, if you really want your toes, but keep the spine nice and long. And keep that right rib cage rotating towards the left leg. It's that subtle rotation that's going to allow you to feel that stretch through your right quadratus lumborum, through your hips and the glutes here, as well as that piriformis muscle that might be doing the dirty on you. So if you were going to get rid of all of this and keep one, this is the one. I'd prefer you keep two. If it was going to be the two, that low lunge we just did, and this one. And also this leg can always be bent. That left leg can be bent to allow more depth. I'm going to be here for another minute. Just know it's okay to kind of pull back and draw back in at any time with any of these postures. I'm going to take that big breath in. Exhale, ragdoll. Kind of take note how your body pulls in the ragdoll. And start to walk your hands up. You can lean back into them. You can straighten that right leg. Give the legs a shake. Left leg might get a little bit tingly when you're doing that. Might not. And we're going to go to the opposite side. So this time it's that right leg. So right leg straight. Left leg to the inside of the right leg, left foot. And so, again, wherever it matches. And you might have one side that's very different than the other. So if one side you're like this and the other side you're like this, roll with it. It's just where your body is today. And from here, we're going to get nice and tall. We're going to line up our sternum with that right leg. We're going to look at those right toes and walk our fingertips out and over, keeping that slight rotation. And so you'll see you can put a hand out here to help with the rotation. Put both hands on your shin. All sorts of variations. This is another good one if you want to lift your hips on a blanket or a pillow. Completely appropriate. All right. Getting there, very close. Almost done. Take a big breath in. Exhale, just ragdoll out. Notice the difference in how this side of the body pulls, or it might be the same. Just taking inventory of where you are. Walk the hands up, lean back. Go ahead and straighten those legs, give them a shake. And that's really it. So, to start, 30 to 60 seconds, each one of these stretches, in the evening or in your office, but, once a day, not the full 5-minute stretches, but once a day, see if there's any relief. Definitely run it by your doctor to make sure it's not contraindicated with anything that his diagnosis states. If this is helpful, then I can give you some more stuff. The other thing to think about is if you have something that's pulling and tight, it's sometimes a weak muscle. So stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching won't always give you help. The opposite would be you might want to actually strengthen your gluteal muscles. Sometimes they get dormant. And so thinking about gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, strengthening those muscles using band exercises. I can give you stuff on that if you want it. But having that comprehensive of strengthening and strengthening and stretching, that's going to be, maximal results for you. So, definitely talk to your doctor. Definitely make sure that, the recommendations are safe for what you're talking to him about. And let me know if there's anything else you need. I'm happy to give it to y'all. So Happy New Year. Hope you guys are well. Miss seeing you around. I'm a loser and stay home all the time and do stuff like this. So just let me know. Happy to film you videos. Bye. Happy New Year.